Good afternoon. I'm Alert Meteorologist Diane Phillips with you on this Tuesday. We are looking at a little bit of an active radar this afternoon, so we'll be talking about some pop-up shower chances for today. Also, the wildfire smoke is going to be back in play, and you are also going to find that we do have a little bit of astronomy happening with tonight's full moon. So we have a lot to discuss, and of course, we're going to make sure that you have the latest information. Of course, every day, Monday through Friday, we hang out here at 2 o'clock, so we are happy that you are joining us. And don't forget to tell your friends and family that we are meeting at this time. They can join us on YouTube, Facebook, and also on the TV5 News app and at WNEM.com. Plus, we're also on our Fire Stick and Roku channels. So no matter where you go and get all your digital information, you can always find us on those platforms as well. And even Android TV, I believe we're on there as well. So there's a lot of places for us to be hanging out. I'm going to give it here just a few more minutes for some folks to be hopping on, but I am going to start out though with a live look here in Birch Run. We have the clouds that have been building, and it was fabulous this morning. I had my sunglasses on coming into work, but now we have the cloud cover that is here, and these clouds are going to continue to build in. Thankfully, we do have some dry weather. I've also kind of been watching our skies to see if we have any of that smoke already that's going to start coming in, because we do anticipate that. So skies don't necessarily look all that murky, but we are going to continue to kind of keep an eye to those conditions as we go into the afternoon. Now, as we kind of get started here, because I know a lot of our push alerts have come out, we will start out with the wildfire smoke topic. I know we've kind of been talking about this for quite a while now, but we will continue to kind of be keeping an eye to these conditions here through the summer. As we take a look at some of our wildfire conditions, we do still have our heaviest of smoke off into Canada, and yet some of those fires are still fairly active closer towards Edmonton and Western Canada. So we are seeing that potentially some of those closer fires are going to continue to bring us some of that smoke nearby. You can see some of that trailing in towards the UP, into Wisconsin, and then into Minnesota. So we are going to have those conditions that are going to continually be a problem for us. Especially today, we have westerly winds, and that is just kind of how our flow is going to work. As I kind of point this through, you can kind of see lightly how that flow just kind of grabs a little bit of that smoke from the central portion of Canada, and then that's going to be bringing that in. So you'll see that towards Minnesota, Wisconsin. So some of those lighter greens is kind of tracking more of that smoke. And so with us kind of having that flow that comes around, that's going to bring that smoke back in. But we have seen a little bit of clearing. I am going to start out with our near surface smoke, because this is going to continue to kind of increase here through the day. We had a nice break this morning where we didn't really see some of that orange kind of brown color on our cameras, but we are going to kind of see some of that return here. So it still will remain on the lighter side through about 6 o'clock. But if you have noticed that you haven't just been feeling all that great because of the wildfire smoke, just know you're probably going to be feeling the effects here as we go into the rest of this week, because still as we go into our overnight hours and tomorrow morning, we kind of climb up into that green area. So that's still kind of that thin, but it gets us close to the moderate. I kind of take yellow, kind of that low to moderate stage 2, but we find that in West Michigan, the smoke is a lot stronger, but that is going to kind of move through our area on Wednesday. So though I have a really nice forecast for Wednesday, you still will find that conditions are going to be smoky if you're outside. So I know it's hard when you want to get outside and enjoy the summer weather. We of course don't have it long enough here in Michigan, but we are going to continue to track wildfire smoke as long as those fires are active into Canada. As we go into Thursday, we still find during the overnight, at times we have some of that smoke come in. Towards our north, we see a little bit of a thinning pattern. We'll be watching our wind directions. Thursday forecast is tricky because we do have a stationary front that's going to come in that'll bring us some rainfall. So it's just something that we'll be watching there. Now, as far as our air quality index, we were in the good category this morning, but already a lot of our sensors across the lower peninsula have already switched back to moderate. So a lot of our readings are finally showing that smoke kind of coming in and starting to make some air quality impact. So I know it's not ideal. Hopefully you were able to get out this morning, maybe go for a run, get that walk in, take your furry friends out there for that walk. But just know that the smoke is going to be something that we all have to kind of now work as it's back into the forecast. And as we were forecasting, we were expecting our air quality to go back into that moderate stage. So hopefully we can kind of keep that index closer to that 60, 65 range, but we may find that that does need to bump up a little bit. So it really just depends, of course, on the strength of the plumes and as those are going to be coming in. So wildfire smoke has definitely been something that we've all kind of been monitoring here. And it's just something that we're going to have to continue to watch for as we go through the next couple of days. Now, we do also have that wildfire smoke that we've been watching. And we have had our TV5 reporter James Felton. He's been keeping an eye to the conditions and also working with local doctors to see how does this impact your health. I know personally I have kind of felt my sinuses to be a little bit not happy just because it's kind of, it works like pollen. It gets into your nose and then that starts to irritate you a little bit and then the symptoms come in. So of course that's going to affect everybody a little bit differently. So like I had mentioned, if you're just not feeling good, it might be because of the smoke. But we are going to take a look to see what some of the recommendations are and how things can work a little bit better, hopefully for you to kind of navigate the health side of the wildfire smoke.
See it, smell it, and it might even be stinging your eyes. That smoke from the Canadian wildfires is putting those with heart or lung disease, older adults, children, and pregnant women at risk.
TV5's James Felton spoke to a medical expert on how to stay safe when the smoke blankets our area. James?
Even if you don't have a chronic condition, it's important to know that wildfire smoke can make anyone sick.
The most important thing is to avoid the smoke as much as you can.
Jason Liu is a pulmonary and critical care physician for Covenant Healthcare. He tells us we should all pay attention to the air quality right now. Wildfire smoke is in the area, putting some of us in more danger than others.
Patients with heart conditions, patients with chronic lung conditions such as asthma, COPD, pregnant patients, teens, and also children. Those patients are at higher risk than the general population.
And even if you're not venturing outside, there are precautions you should take indoors.
To make sure that their windows are closed, their doors are closed. I also highly recommend patients to have an air filter in their house too.
Liu tells us this wildfire smoke is something we should all take seriously.
Those toxins could really affect your lungs. They could cause your airways to close up. And for some patients, these toxins could be so bad to the point that they'll have to go to the emergency room.
Liu advises those with chronic conditions to wear N95 masks if they go outside. The rest of us should keep a mask handy just in case. Liu says the less time we spend outdoors when smoke is in the air, the better.
If you just need to go outside for a short period of time, I think that should be okay. But especially if you're going to go outside and do activities in the outside, prolonged exposure is definitely going to put you at risk of developing respiratory issues.
To check out the air quality where you live, head over to the Thursday Hot Links section on our website, WNEM.com. Back to you.
Of course, we appreciate James for meeting with the medical experts to kind of know exactly what we need to be watching for as we go throughout the rest of this smoky season. So, of course, make sure you're taking care of yourself. And with the wildfire smoke, we'll always be first alerting you. We're even talking about adding some of those smoke products to the First Alert Weather app so that you can kind of stay on top of it, since this is going to be something that is going to be impacting here for our summer season. But as we continue to kind of go through, we still have to talk about our First Alert forecast. We also have to talk about the full moon that's going to be happening tonight. But now's a really good time to take a quick break. We will be right back. And welcome back. First Alert Meteorologist Diane Phillips. We've been talking about our wildfire smoke, and we are going to continue to see that smoke here through the season. Another fun and interesting thing that you might want to know a little bit more about is going to be the full moon tonight. So with it being the month of June, it is the strawberry moon. And so this is actually going to be the lowest in the sky kind of full moon that we've seen in about 2 decades. And the reason for that is it all comes into alignment with the tilt of the Earth, because the Earth, yes, is tilted. It's not exactly straight on its poles. It's about a 23.5-degree swing that it is tilted around the sun. So because of the tilt and the pattern that the moon takes around the Earth, plus the gravity pull of Earth on the moon, you can see that there's a lot of elements that go into this. But just with how everything is positioned, we are going to find that this is just going to be sitting a little bit lower in the sky. So be prepared as that moon comes up tonight, that you are going to have to kind of maybe look a little bit lower into the sky, closer to the horizon. I do anticipate a few clouds to be around, but maybe we can even get that into a little bit of a better clearing. We will actually find that it reaches kind of its peak full moon stage at 3:44 a.m. So in about 13 or so hours, 13 or so hours, we will see that overhead. A lot of us will probably be asleep by then, but if you are up in the night, maybe you kind of work a shift that has you coming in the middle of the night, you may find that you can get a good look at that full moon. Now, we also are going to be keeping an eye to some of the conditions, not only that are kind of out of this world, but a quick update on the tropics. So we still don't have any disturbances into the Atlantic, which I think a lot of us are okay with. If you have maybe some friends or family that are usually kind of in those hurricane zones, we're kind of happy to see that there hasn't been a lot of happening here. But in the Eastern Pacific, that's where we've actually seen a lot of action. So if you maybe have heard about kind of some hurricanes and thinking, oh, it's an early start, June 1st is actually the beginning of hurricane season. But we have found that we've had actually 3 named storms so far in the Eastern Pacific. So a lot of them have been located just off the shores of Mexico. The latest one was Barbara, and that storm actually reached hurricane winds yesterday, but now currently is classified as a tropical storm. And then we also have Tropical Storm Cosme that is out. So both of these are just sitting in that tropical storm zone because of their wind speed. And we have noticed that they are going to kind of shift to get towards some cooler water. So we anticipate that those are going to start to weaken. But we've been noticing multiple disturbances and some clusters. You can even see kind of our next disturbance here with this red X. That's going to be something that we're watching. You can even see that it's got that 80% chance of development and cyclone formation. So we are, of course, going to be watching these. Thankfully, a lot of these don't tend to impact the United States all that much, but you can at times see them kind of come up, at least get a little bit closer towards California. So just some of the tropic happenings, if you start to hear some rumbles. As far as the Atlantic season, I don't believe we've had any named storms, but that first named storm would be Andrea on the 2025 list, and the next one would be Barry. So those would be the first 2 names that we're watching for the season. I know a lot of people go, oh, is my name on there? My name on there? But you'll just have to kind of wait and see the rest of these names as they come through. But that's just a quick update on the tropics. That's also on the full moon that we're going to be watching for tonight. And I will give you a quick look at our radar here. So we do have a couple of pop-up showers that have been taking off this afternoon. We were looking at better coverage east of 75, and we still have some showers that are really starting to brew here into the thumb and across the northern shoreline as well. So you can see there towards Iosco County, we've had some decent coverage. We've also had right there along US 10 and just north a few returns on our radar of some scattered showers. None of these look to be all that strong. Our strongest rain chances are actually the cells that are sitting just north of Port Huron out over Lake Huron. So that is not really going to impact much of us here in mid-Michigan, but we are going to continue to kind of see some of these spotty showers. So if you have plans this afternoon or this evening, we're going to find here while we're in kind of the peak heat of our day that we do have the chance to see some of these pop-up showers as they come through. Let's take a current check of our temperatures, though. You will find that a lot of us are a little bit cooler today. We're sitting into the mid to upper 60s. We do have 70 degrees right there on the dot for Flint and Owasso. We're just short of it in Bad Axe. We're at 69 there. Same for Saginaw and Gladwin. We have 68 in Port Hope, 64 in Port Sanilac, and 72 in Oscoda. So we are finding, again, it's a little bit cooler, but it's just enough with some energy that we do have a couple of showers that are starting to develop and to come through. Now, we still have to look at the latest hour-by-hour forecast. So we are going to find that that is going to try to bring in some of these showers here. So it's already kind of picking up on a little bit of that coverage. So that's going to be something that we are watching here through the daytime heating. We may see that wrap up closer towards dinner, but I'm just still, with it being kind of the summer season, going to be leery that some of that may hold even through the 6 o'clock hour. But once that sun starts to go down, we start to trim some of the temperatures back. You will see that we have dry weather for the overnight. So we do have conditions that are going to be mostly clear here through the evening. So that is good. As I had mentioned, I was worried about a couple of clouds coming in for folks who wanted to see the full moon tonight, but it looks like we should have some pretty good clearing. Once that goes down for the day, you will find that we do still have a couple of showers that are going to be possible. And so that, or not showers, clouds, a couple of clouds on Wednesday morning are going to be possible. Thankfully, Wednesday is our dry day. It's kind of the pick day too in the forecast as we have 80s and humidity. We'll be talking about that. But as we go throughout our Wednesday, we really have a lot of sunshine coming through. So that UV index will be high once again. And especially with this coming up on the summer solstice, that means that that sun angle is going to be strong. So do not forget your sunscreen. As we go into our Wednesday evening, this is going to be nice. I know we got music coming back to Bay City. So the weather cannot be timed out any better for that event. So thankfully that's going to be nice and dry. I know we do have more events that are going to be coming up this week on Thursday, but those showers, that's going to start to be a problem as we go into Thursday morning. We have a stationary front that's going to come in, so it is going to have some rainfall associated with it. And what we're really going to be watching is, where does a stationary front park? It's stationary. It's got to stop somewhere. So we will find that it is going to kind of position itself somewhere here through mid-Michigan. We've been kind of watching it fluctuate through the Great Lakes Bay region. It may stay just north of the Tri-Cities. It may stay a little bit south of the Tri-Cities. And no matter where it goes, it's really going to be playing with numbers. So we will be watching that closely. We have had to trim back some of the numbers for Thursday, and we right now still have it at 70 degrees, but we may need to drop back into the 60s. But we may find that that front is able to dry out for some of our events on Thursday. We'll be watching that closely, but really the placement just makes it tricky. A stationary front is never a friend to a meteorologist because they just kind of have a mind of their own. Now, as far as the humidity goes for tomorrow, you will find that those conditions do become a little bit sticky. We've had a little bit of humidity, but nothing that's been really consistent, and we will have, though, that kind of peaking as we go into tomorrow. And then it looks like Friday is another time where our dew points are going to be dropping, but that's also when we see additional rain chances, so that added moisture coming in. It'll also be a little bit cooler. We'll be into the 60s by Friday and Saturday. I know it's June, you don't want to hear that, but we do have quite a bit of a cooler forecast. But at least be prepared tomorrow with us looking at temperatures that are going to be into the 80s and the humidity. It's going to be our one day of summer here this week. Now, a full look at your First Alert 7-day forecast shows those temperatures that are dropping. You're going to find those do go into the 60s for Friday and Saturday. So I know it's not what I necessarily want to see. I know some folks in our newsroom also are not happy with the cooler forecast, but at least Wednesday, it's kind of that taste of summer. And then once that rainfall comes in Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're really kind of watching. If you have plans this weekend, I know we have graduation parties and weddings. Those are really big here this time of year. Keep an eye to this forecast. I would like to at least narrow it down to some day parts as it gets a little bit closer, but the forecast is a little bit more uncertain during that time frame. We have a low pressure system. It's kind of weak higher up in the atmosphere coming through. So it's going to be playing with the details a little bit closer. So right now it just looks cool. It looks damp. It just maybe doesn't look like June in the forecast for this weekend. But at least for Father's Day, that's looking a little bit better. We start to rebound. We have some mid 70s, a little more cloud cover still, but hopefully a moment of some sun we can get there for the dads and father figures. And going into Monday, we start to bring a little more sunshine in and temperatures warm back into the mid 70s. So it's just a little bit of a cool spell getting us into the weekend that we have maybe some not so June-like weather, and then it gets a little bit closer and kind of back to business as we go into the later half of this week. Our normal highs at this point in the season are at 77, so we are a little bit below average here. Normal lows are around 57 degrees, and even tonight we're going to be looking at a low about 53. So it'll be still a nice weather if you want to sleep with those windows open, but we are going to find that we're maybe a touch below average here as we go into the middle half of this month. Can you believe it? We're only about a short month away from Independence Day, so summer seems to be going quickly. We would like to see these numbers warm up for us to have some more summer-like weather so we can get outside and take the boat out. Now, of course, if you do want that marine forecast, we do have that on the First Alert weather app. That's a great spot to get that daily. We have that there. Let's actually pull up that so you can get that on your phones in case you don't have the app, even tablets. That is a great tool to have here. I know we had those severe thunderstorm watches come in yesterday after we were hanging out at 2 o'clock. So that was a great way that you were able to get those watches in, since we were kind of moving on and shifting gears to make sure that we were staying on top of those storms. So make sure that you are staying weather aware with the app. You'll also get extra content. And again, we're working on getting some more smoke information onto the app for you. So that's going to be a pretty helpful tool to have here for a while. So make sure that, again, you are staying connected with your First Alert weather team. As we wrap up here today, again, 2 o'clock in the afternoon is when we're going to be meeting here at the First Alert desk to talk about the latest forecast and some fun happenings. As I mentioned, I kind of wanted to talk not only about the smoke, but the full moon tonight, and even some of our happenings in the tropics as that season is going to be getting underway. But as always, we hope that you have a great afternoon, and we'll see you here tomorrow at 2 o'clock.